This child was born in 2011, the same year as the Arab Spring. And in his short life in Syria, he has known nothing but the cruelties of war, oppression, bombing, starvation, flight, and terror. He's been robbed of the most precious time of his life, his childhood, his education, and his innocence. No wonder that many like him took flight to safety, and in this episode of Big Questions, we hear their stories of escape from the nightmare and their dreams for the future.
This is the year of migration and multilateralism, and if it isn't, it should be.
Syria has been pulled apart in what some call a civil war. Others a proxy war between international interests.
Because the world, as we all know, is facing a political crisis, a moral crisis, an economic crisis, and a social crisis, all of which are intimately connected with the issue of migration.
But no matter the political analysis, there's still the stark, proven reality of the fighting, terrorizing of the civilian population by arbitrary detention and execution, crude and indiscriminate use of the barrel bomb and sarin gas in cities held under siege, all deprived of water, food, and medicines. All under the watch of the international community, who seem powerless to intervene, not only in the suppression of violence, but in offering succor and refuge to those escaping the nightmare.
Humanitarian conditions in eastern Aleppo have gone from terrible to terrifying, and now barely survivable by human beings.
Each bomb creates a wave of people seeking peace from war. Those who can afford it try to reach countries where they and their families will be safe. This is an exodus of biblical and historical proportions.
We have to learn to integrate into our societies those who seek refuge in them.
It takes great courage, strength, and resilience to leave your homeland. It also takes imagination and the power of simple dreams. Here are some of them.
My name is Amir. I'm a footballer player. Coming to here before maybe 4 months.
Amir was a star soccer player in his own country before the war, and he's still recognized in the camps. He was a role model then, and he remains more so now, a very strong man.
I left Syria, as all people did, because of war. It's hard for any man to stay. In Turkey, we felt a little bit more safe, but we were worried about our families. The journey was a lot harder than I expected. I took about a 15-hour journey by bus to reach Izmir. And in Izmir, the conditions were very bad. We had to wait in a forest to get onto an inflatable boat for days and days on end. And then when we got to the inflatable boat, we crossed the sea to reach Greece. In Greece, we received papers that meant that we could move on to other countries, and we went from Lesbos to a city on the border of Macedonia. And the conditions on the borders are very bad. We had to stay outdoors for 3 days, and eventually we got into Macedonia with great difficulty. And from Macedonia, I went to Serbia, from Serbia to Croatia, to Austria, and then finally here to Germany. We faced many difficult situations. The most difficult one is when you get on the inflatable boat. The smuggler tells you a couple of things and you pay him money, and after that he takes you to the place where the boat will kick off into the sea. You find out they don't really care about either your life or the lives of the women and children. They don't care if the waves are too high. They may use insults or force, and you've no choice.
When we got on the inflatable boat, the smuggler had told us we'd be 25 or 30 people, but we found out there were about 60. Most of them were women and children. and it really is a death journey when you get on a small inflatable boat that size. The smugglers told us no one of them would go with us and we'd have to train one of us. And the boat had a hole in it, so I had to put my hand over the hole all the way, and sometimes I used my back to plug it. Any wrong move would cause the boat to imbalance and everybody would have fallen in the water. The moment of landing cannot be described at all. We were treated wonderfully by the Greek rescue teams and the Red Cross, the large number of volunteers who were waiting for us. They took the children directly and gave them health care and gave us clothes because we were all wet, and they gave us food. I took off my life jacket and I gave to a woman holding a baby. When we landed, it was then we discovered that the life jackets we'd bought from the smuggler were useless, and if we'd gone in the water, we would have sank and drowned. I felt I was strong, as I was able to help anyone who needs help. I tried to reassure the people. Maybe I was 10 times stronger than usual. I was ready for anything. The decision not to bring my wife and my son with me was difficult. We were caught between a rock and a hard place. My greatest concern, obviously, is the reunion with my wife and child. I haven't seen them for nearly 2 years. I'm trying to get a residence permit to be able to get them to join me here. And with the new system, we have to submit to the course twice to verify our identity. And at the moment, we have submitted for the first time, and I'm waiting for the second court appearance. Why did I come to Germany? Well, at the beginning, I didn't have any specific country in mind. I just wanted to get out of where I was. I talked to my wife and I told her I decided to come to Germany because it's a developed country with great opportunities to work, especially for me as a footballer. I hope to play football or continue my learning in football training, and my dream is to work as a coach in one of the teams. I want to say to my child and all children, we are Syrian. We had to come here to continue life. Now all my thinking is of you and of all of your friends. Our big concern is you. Our sacrifices we are offering and all that we are doing is to make you enjoy a life better than ours. When you grow up, you will be proud of us and draw strength from what we did, from the journey and conditions we lived through. I hope that when my son Maya grows up and has a chance to see this video one day to receive my message, I want to tell him, you have to be a successful man and add your print on any place you're in. Be peaceful, loving and ambitious in any place you are. Now we're in Germany. We don't know where we'll be in the future. You have to do everything you can do for the country you're in. Your first and last country is Syria, but also the country that you were in at the time. And never, never hesitate to help anyone who needs help. Learn and learn and learn. Be positive and accept all people to be able to live a life better than ours.
My name is Mariela Shaker. I'm from Aleppo, Syria, and I came to United States almost 2.5 years ago as I got a scholarship to continue my music studies in Monmouth College. So we had the big explosion at the University of Aleppo. We couldn't feel anything around us except for blood everywhere. After 6 or 7 months of really hard work, running under bombs and mortars, I was so glad that I got an email from Monmouth College welcoming me to do a second bachelor in music performance. While I was on the trip to Beirut, over than 50 or 60 checkpoints, they all wanted to open the violin. They thought it's a gun. I graduated last summer from Monmouth College, and I got an amazing opportunity to do my master at DePaul University. Sadly, my family, they are still living in Aleppo, Syria, surviving with the basic necessities of life. They are running without internet, without water, without electricity. It's so sad situation. I'm really afraid about them, and I try to call them regularly, almost every day, just to make sure that they are still doing fine. However, I'm glad that I was able to fulfill my mom's only wish to see her 2 children in a safe place. Huffington Post wrote an article about me, and I was also honored at the White House by President Obama and selected as Champion of Change for World Refugees.
Thank you.
I recently performed for the United Nations in Geneva. I performed Jewish music. I performed a theme from Schindler's List, and I'm Christian myself, and I performed for some of the Muslim communities. So I think that it is a great way to connect the world together, to overcome all the barriers and all the differences. My life has become beyond playing the violin. I feel that I tell the story when I perform a music piece. I'm grateful for everything, and I'm so glad that I'm in the United States. I consider myself now as not just a legal, legitimate Syrian citizen, but also a new, loyal and devoted young American woman. I received my green card last year, and the American culture has impacted me in so many ways, and they taught me that humanity does matter.
I will keep performing to tell the story of my suffering country and people. May this music help healing the pain our world has felt.
I tell the story of my country, and it certainly reflects my experience and all the scenes I have seen in Syria. It doesn't look like the city I used to live, I used to love. It's so sad that you see a destroyed, a vanished city. I don't know what's going on. I hope this is a dream, but sadly it's not. I mean, when I was on the way traveling from Aleppo to Beirut, I couldn't feel anything around me. All the buildings were on the floor, like you can't see, is this a city? Or it's like a city of ghosts? What's going on? Why? It's a tragedy.
My name is Mohammed Abu Amar. I'm from Damascus in Syria. I was injured in Syria by a shell rocket, and I was diagnosed with paraplegia.
What is astonishing about this modern-day Moses is that even though he's helped tens of thousands travel to safety, he himself cannot walk.
That's paralysis that affects all or part of the trunk, legs, and pelvic organ. I went to a hospital in Damascus, and all they were able to do was to take the shell rocket out of my back. And then I traveled to Jordan, and then Egypt, and I finally came to Germany to get medical treatment. We tried to come to Germany by traveling through the ocean in Alexandria, in Egypt. But our attempt failed, so we came through Turkey, and we stayed there for 2 years. And I kept thinking of a way to migrate and get treated. I checked out all the paths and possible ways through Greek and Serbia and so on. And I collected so much information about the different paths. I started to help people, because there were a lot of people cheated by the smugglers. Then I planned to travel to Europe in the legal way, but I couldn't make it through the Greek embassy. So I got introduced to one of the illegal smugglers. We met in Alexandria, where I spent 3 months in Cairo. When I tried to flee, the Egyptian police caught us all. Myself, my wife, my kids were only 3 and 4 years old. After spending 15 days in jail, we were deported and had to pay our own costs and expenses to Turkey. It was difficult for us to start our life again there from the beginning, as we'd spent all the money that we had to purchase the tickets. I have a wife and 2 kids. My son's name is Amar. He's affected very much psychologically after the war in Syria, although he's getting a bit better nowadays. They took them via the mountains, and because a lot of them were getting lost on the way, they started calling me, and I helped and I guided them in order to prevent trafficking. A lot of harm and danger has been done from the migration smugglers. I guided them with navigation, and whenever there was a problem on the way, I would call the Coast Guard. My number served as a hotline. People would often get lost in the mountains, and they would call me any time of the day or night, and I would guide them to the correct paths and better options for them, and sometimes when they were on the way, and then finally on the sea. I keep in touch with them through WhatsApp. I get their location, and whenever anything goes wrong, I call the Coast Guard to help rescue them. I started off alone for 2 years, but when people started migrating more and more, with the help of 15 other activists, we started a small organization, each activist in one country. We're all volunteers, and we're a non-profit organization. We archive all the journeys on our Facebook page with its own number, its departure point and the length of the journey, including all pictures of the conversations during the way, so the families of those refugees can follow up with the information on their page. More than 1,500 maritime journeys have been made with our supervision, and more than 30,000 people have contacted me. I really wanted to help people to travel and be safe without wasting their money and being abused by the smugglers. I want the refugees without money from my country to travel without having to pay the smugglers. Unfortunately, we as Syrians, or in general as refugees, we become like goods to be traded. I hope the war will soon be over and finished in my country so I can go back there, because there is nothing better than being in my home country. I wish all the refugees and migrants could get back to Syria. I also want to help the people, the immigrants, the refugees who are staying on the border with Syria, Turkey and Jordan. I want to help the people who want to come here and get medication and treatment. I would feel so good if I could do this, and I would consider it my most successful achievement. Thus, I'm seeking to be a bridge or path for those people who need to get out.
We visited the most unlikely surroundings of Berlin's old Tempelhof Airport, an airport built by the Nazis in the 1930s and later served in the Berlin airlift right after the Second World War. It is now the home of thousands of Syrian refugees, and there we found hope and dreams expressed through art when we met a young Syrian woman, Nada.
From about here, so if you want to hold it up just to there, yeah, perfect.
My name is Nada Sadoun. I'm from Syria. From the city is Hasake, but I live in Damascus too. So I love both of them, and I love Syria more. We came from Syria to Turkey, then we crossed the sea to the other side, from country to other one, sometimes by feet, sometimes by trains, sometimes we use a bus, but we was so tired and it was cold. I never going to forget it. Actually, I began to paint here because I feel so tired and I miss my country, my family. So I need something just to say it. Maybe some people trying to just get angry or doing some bad things, but I try to do something quiet and give it to my country, maybe as a gift. Yeah, especially this. This is the jasmine. It's growing especially in Damascus. Yeah, and I love it so much. When you walk at the street, you always see this jasmine at spring, shining and smell nice smell. So I love it. It's talking about what people could do for the planet. It's a green, but when you see here, they destroyed it, and it's dark here, not like here. When you go to the natural, you feel so okay and so relaxed. But when you feel and see the people, what they do, what the humans say, and when they destroyed all the countries, and it's just like, yeah, what they do, it's here. Mm-hmm. And this one, it's like a memory. I remember my home in Damascus when the sun goes. So there was a mountains and they was like that, but they was not like that. Sad. They was happy, and now I feel that they sad because all of us leave, and it's maybe they want us to back, but we can't. Here it's the says something like they kill you, Syria. It's our homes destroyed, and the woman here crying, but she's like singing. She's singing, trying to say something, or maybe crying about our country, but it's make a green. For me, when I be sad, I try to do something good. So I'm just like someone hope to rebuild my country, bring the peace for every part of this planet, not just for Syria, for the other countries. This one, place for praying. And the beginning of the war, the people was trying just to get here, to be together and get out and say something, say freedom or anything. They're just asking about their rights or anything else. They didn't like it. So you see the eyes here is angry, and the Jasmine trying. This is Jasmine too. And like, I hope that I could save my country. Maybe this Jasmine is the good people who are looking for peace. This is me. I'm always like that. Yeah, because I don't want to see anything black, anything sad, anyone sad. So it's just like, I'm a flower. Yeah, this is like people who are looking for something, I don't know, maybe peace. Yeah, especially when I remember that because it's in my mind. I don't forget it, never ever. Yeah.
We are a nation of immigrants. Many of our families escaped persecution, economic hardship, and war. They too had a dream.
This is a great inheritance. It is a proud privilege to be a citizen of the great republic, to realize that we are the descendants of 40 million people who left other countries, other familiar scenes, to come here to the United States to build a new life, to make a new opportunity for themselves and their children. I think it is not a burden, but a privilege to have the chance to share that great concept among all of our people, to make this really, as it was for them, a new world, a new world for us, and indeed for all those who look to us.
The United States accepts refugees on humanitarian grounds, but not to improve the American economy. But the striking success of Syrian immigrants in this country and in other countries should give us some confidence that Syrian refugees can be integrated and successful here.
We have to have a greater understanding of the positive values that the migrant communities are bringing to countries who badly need them. The 10 countries with the lowest population growth in the world are in Europe. 30 or 40 years' time, those who are retired, as opposed to those who work, will massively have increased in Europe. We have to learn to integrate into our societies those who seek refuge in them.